I'm Zach St. John with LA Session Drummer. I've been a professional recording session musician for 20 years. When I'm not playing drums, I have a cool role as a drum tech with Drum Doctors. And if you haven't heard of Drum Doctors, we provide drums and consultation to the recording industry as a whole. And with that experience, we're able to bring you drum kits with the utmost tuning precision and care. Behind me is the 1980s Gretsch USA custom kit. And these are drums that I've pulled from all over the world and put them together. They are not a match kit by factory origin, but to my ear, the shells all work perfectly together to create a perfect capture of a drum sound. This kit has been heard on so many recordings: Red Hot Chili Peppers, Metallica, pretty much anything Bob Rock records, Linkin Park, you name it, you've heard these drums on recordings. The shells themselves, it's one of those things where a basic, simplistic way to create a drum shell. 6-ply shell itself, they did a little paint on the interior, they put some nice cast metal lugs on them with die-cast hoops, and that combination of a thinner shell and well-made USA quality product makes these drums kind of a unicorn as far as getting that studio sound that you want for recordings. You can do a lot of different styles with them. So we've got 12-inch tom, 13-inch tom, and the floor toms are 16 and then 18, and the kick drum is a 22. These shells put together, I can accomplish pretty much anything I need to with recording. You might notice that the snare drum doesn't match the kit. Almost 100% of the time in the studio, the snare drum is not at all the same brand. Specifically, this snare drum is a 1981 Tama Bell brass. You may have heard of it by other names as the Terminator, and it just is one of those unicorns and special productions that can't be reproduced, and they've tried to make the snare drum again. It was just a magic time with magic materials made by magic hands, and you can hear the magic for sure. For this sample session, I went with clear Remo pinstripes. One of the reasons is that when this kit was being used the most and was actually a new kit, those are the heads that a lot of the session players were using, and I like to kind of do a little throwback so that it's an ode to that sound of the 80s and early 90s. So you might have noticed there's some towels that are clipped on, some gaff tape, and then I also have snare weight on the snare drum. I use all three in conjunction with each other to help control some of the tonalities, both top and bottom heads, to get the sound that is a focused, articulate representation of each drum. The towels clipped on is because I can adjust how much fabric is touching the drum head by moving it on and then clipping it to the rim. When you make impact with the drum, the muffling comes off the head a little bit and then comes back down, so it's like a natural compression. So you still get the liveliness of the drum head, but then it cuts the tone a little bit quicker so that it can make a more precise recording. I went with 80's cymbals for this sample library. They're set up for rock, pop, thicker, and I wanted some cymbals that are a little bit brighter and crispy. And these 80's not only stylistically fit with the kit, but are what a lot of guys use in the studio for capturing this kind of sound. They're bright, they make sense together. The 20-inch china, it's the thin china that they don't really make anything like this anymore. It's bent and warped and kind of has a lot of character and just soul to it from being bashed over the years. And because it's bent, it's got almost a drier, tighter sound. So it not being produced in the same way anymore and having all the years of wear and tear make it super cool, and I think you'll hear that in the recording. As far as the microphones on the kit, for me it's a representation of if I put my ear up to the drum, I want it to sound just like that through the microphone. And these get the closest to that for my personal taste. On the toms, we have 421s. The microphones I'm using on the snare are not usually what you would think of. On the top, I'm running two microphones, both beyerdynamic. One is the beyerdynamic 88, and the other one is the 201. And I blend those together for the top. And again, I don't have to even EQ them. It's just a natural, great combination for the microphones. Underneath, I'm using a Sennheiser 441, and that has a great capture of the snares themselves and to kind of complete the rounded nature that you want for a full snare drum sound together. I think I'm most excited about how I mic the kick drum. I have watched and sampled for years and years other engineers or producers on how they mic the kick drum. And this, for me, is it. I don't think I'll ever move on from this, especially the inside mic. And this is something that I think is a secret weapon, or will be for a lot of you who are watching this. It's called a V-kick. It's by a company, SE. Inside, pointed right at where the beater's making contact. I don't have to EQ it. It's got the perfect tone and slap and impact that I want. Matched with, on the outside head, I use a FET, kind of rounds out and captures the sound as I want. And then the trifecta is adding in the Yamaha sub kick. And those three together, you can blend those three mics and get any kick tonality you want for the most part, for any style of music. And for this, you're going to hear that, especially the inside mic. For the overhead mic, I chose a stereo ribbon made by AEA. It's the R88, and it's matched with their preamp that they literally recommend. And with this, again, no EQ. It's just a natural capture of the drum set. I put it right over my right leg, and I get, again, if my ear is above the drum set, it's exactly what I hear that you get through the microphone. So something that I really think you're going to dig is not having a lot of processing added to the source signals that we're getting through the Gretsch kit. I love to tune a drum and to manipulate the sound in a way that we don't have to add EQ and a lot of color and manipulation on the back end. You can do your own manipulation on our mixer with this kit, but knowing that they're tuned the right way and you don't have to shape that sound, which happens a lot more these days, I think is a really cool thing that we're offering for you. So some of the other mics that we're using, I want to start with the Rooms. They are a 251 clone. These as Rooms are my favorite, and I think they just round the kit out perfectly and match with that R88 on the overhead. Another really fun mic that I'm using is made by Cascade. It's the Fathead. And the term used in the recording industry is usually, the placement of it is the cock mic, because it is pointed right at that general region. With those three different areas blended in with the close mics, you can really get a cool capture of the kit. In addition to the precise capture of this drum set, LA Session Drummer has made our own sampler in which you can check out all the details and nuances in the next video. I'm ready to play. Let me show you what they sound like. All right, everyone, that is the 1980s Gretsch kit. Make sure you go to our website, lasessiondrummer.com, to purchase it today. Leave us any questions or comments, subscribe to our channel, and we will see you down the road.